All right, let's go. Right, episode, I want to say 16.
Episode
could be
16.
wrong. Me and Charlie are back again. We haven't got anyone on this week, but we are in the process of doing a million things. So hopefully getting... I'm moving house, so
Yes.
best case scenario, we're not going to be at my house anymore. This is going to be the last podcast ever here.
Yeah.
But trying to get a unit, and then we've got tens of people lined up to come on, guests.
Yeah, we've got some really, really cool guests, and the best in their fields in high rocks, CrossFit, coaching,
CrossFit games,
MMA. Yeah, so there's
a lot going on.
There's some really cool guests, and it will be nice to, like you said, kind of try and get our own space and kit it out. And for you guys, the production value will be a little bit better, and it'll be easier to watch and follow us. So I think that's to come.
Over time, it's gradually we've gotten better at this. Like people have said, they were very polite about it, saying, not that the first podcast was shit. But it's not getting worse, which is good.
No.
First of all, shout out to our stoves. So I popped in to see Anthony the other day. Lovely little shop. Opposite Mamila. This is actually boiling. So if you're just listening to this, we've been given a small replica of a log burner, and we got 2 tea lights in it, and it is genuinely...
It is actually really warm.
Boiling.
Yeah.
So if anyone over the festive period wants to keep their house warm, we've just shot the funniest advert you've ever seen, actually. I was quite proud of that.
Yeah.
So we won't talk about it too much because you will see the advert on Instagram and hopefully plastered everywhere. But us stoves, get onto them. I'll sort you a deal, 10%. Just walk in and say, hi, I listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
Well, we've got to give a shout out to Herbie.
Oh my God,
Herb, yeah, for creating us our very own light up sign. First bit of kit for the set, along with the stove. So, yeah, thank you very much, mate. It's...
Did he 3D print that?
Yeah, he did it himself.
How does it work? Like, not the lights.
Not a clue. Ask
I don't know how lights work.
Herbie. How do it work? Yeah, how does electricity work? But so moving on. So first time we've asked this in a while, mate. How's your week been? How are you feeling?
I know. Actually quite good. So obviously we found out we're moving house in like 4 days, so everything's go. Mm-hmm. So I'm training wise trying to prioritize what I would anyway, but just cram through the rest of it. So for example, yesterday I did back squats, 5x5s, and that was the main concern. I'm not trying to like rush between sets there, but as soon as the main piece of lifting is done for me, which was 5x5 back squat, all the accessory work, smash through it.
Yep.
So something that works really well if you are short on time, I find, is either giant sets where you'll do, let's say you've got 4 sets of 10 glute ham raises to do, something like that. Just set yourself 40 reps in as few sets as possible, smash through it. You end up doing the same amount of work, as long as it's good quality work, in less time. So you get more from it.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff, like leg extensions and leg curls, set a timer for 3 minutes, as many reps as I can in 3 minutes. My legs were in pieces after it. I spent 20 minutes squatting and then like 13 minutes on accessories, done.
Yeah,
just because life is so hectic outside of it and trying to get everything else done. But good quality training.
Yeah. If the quality's there, it doesn't really matter how many sets you do it in. If technically you're still sound and you're getting the same stimulus and same feeling after it.
If you looked on paper, it would be the same amount of work just done in quicker time, which CrossFit would argue is that's what fitness is. You're improving it.
It's always better to do it than not do it as well.
Yeah.
If you've got 4 sets and you miss 4 sets because you haven't got time, well then there's 4 sets you're never going to get back, is it? So.
Yeah, exactly. Not that like it's that deep to anymore, but
no, but it's still our thing.
Yeah, I still care. Like I still really enjoy training, and like hopefully at some point it's going to come back around. Like maybe not in the next few years for me, but when I'm like 40, maybe I'll get to take training seriously.
He's back.
Again. Yeah. What about you, man?
Really good, mate. Really, really good. Training's on course for some tidy numbers, and just enjoying it. Just really enjoying it. Really enjoying training with different people, different gyms. Some of the lifts are getting better and just feeling better. So for the first time in a long time, my volume has really increased over the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks. My volume has been very high compared to what I'd normally be used to.
More training days or?
I'll train up 4 to 5 times a week, which is way better than I was. But it's more just the volume per session. So the sessions are slightly lighter, but they're more taxing for me because I'm not very good with volume. It would be like I had a complex the other day where I had 2 cleans, 2 front squats and a jerk. And then I'll be doing snatches where it'd be like snatch triples from block, or it would be snatch, or snatch, pull, snatch, overhead squat. It would be lots of reps per set and lots of sets of them. So it's been really good for me to take a break from the mental stresses of trying to go in and just have this standard of I've got to hit these big numbers all the time, because that's where my head said it was currently at.
Yeah.
And I just found my body was kind of breaking down.
It's funny how much like volume that is, though. Like,
Yeah.
When you say sets of threes on triples, my brain instantly went to. I remember a load of CrossFitters went to Willpower like 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And they were really good at volume because they train 5-6 times
Yeah,
a week
yeah.
and they're doing loads. And Justin gave him 6 sets of 3 and just watched them melt because it was such a different
hard,
training stimulus.
It's hard.
It's a lot. It's a lot to get through.
It's a different mental challenge as well. It's the weight is manageable, and I've had so many sessions recently where I've looked at the training program, I've looked at it and gone, oh, that looks quite comfortable. I'll be fine with that. And then about 2 sets in, I've gone, okay, I've got 4 or 5 sets left, and they're all challenging. They're, like, every single one is doable, but I'm having to really work for each one, and it's done a lot for my mental state. I would say if you're struggling with your training in a mental capacity towards lifting heavy all the time, just change it, go into some volume, and you'll get a different buzz from it. So leaving the gym after thinking, right, okay, I've done 8 or 9 sets of this and they've been quality work, and I'm leaving and I've got DOMs and everything's good, it gives you that buzz of, okay, I can see the improvement in my fitness, rather than always just going in and trying to hit like your 1ers, your 2ers, your 3ers, where it's just like demoralizingly heavy and you're leaving the gym either maybe making it or maybe missing it, and then your body is also in a horrible state of maybe niggles or injured or just CNS is fried. So
Do you think it's harder in a sense if you've got things that you're like, right, this, I can do this is achievable, and then you have to force your way through 5 or 6 sets of 3 because you know you can do it, rather than writing it off as this is just too much for me today?
Yeah, I think it depends who you are in terms of what you prefer. So I know, like, for example, Sarah, my girlfriend, she is an absolute volume monster. Like, she will do 4s, 5s, 3s, 6s, 8s. Like, she'll ask for things like that, and I look at it and go, oh god, that's horrendous.
Yeah.
But she absolutely thrives in that, getting a sweat on, work into that capacity of lighter weight, lots of reps, short rest times. Like, she'll do 4 reps, sit down and be back up on her feet in 40 seconds, where I'll do 1 rep and I'll be blowing up my ass for 3 minutes and then have to go back, you know what I mean? Yeah. So she very much likes that, but then she struggles with the heavier side, so the 1ers, the 2ers, because it's not the same stimulus. You don't get as sweaty, you don't get as out of breath, you don't have that warmness building up to it. Whereas me, I'm liking it now, but for long periods, I was like, oh my God, I'm absolutely just getting destroyed by 70% for 4 reps because I'm not used to it. Yeah. But then I would thrive in that, okay, I've only got 1 rep to do.
That's fun, though.
And it's 95% or 100%, and I know I've got to just put my all into it.
A lot of people, it's hard to get up for, like, I got 4 sets of 4 at 70% or 80%, whatever. It's not that fun. Whereas if you've got like a top set and back off, you're like, fucking right, I'm going to hit this.
Yeah.
It's going to be heavy, especially if it's like, imagine you're doing like a West Side program where it's PB every week.
Yeah.
Like, you're excited to hit that rather than slog your way through 5 sets of 8.
Yeah. I think though, on the other hand, I've spoken to younger athletes, especially, like I've got a lad called Jamie, who he's a very talented weightlifter. And he was very much like a kind of younger version of me or many other boys that love the top end and thrive in the top end, but then wouldn't really particularly show up too well at the bottom end, where you should be dialing in things like your technique, dialing in confidence, dialing in positions. And I messaged him about one of his sessions recently, and I said, look, if you look at the quality, he snatched up to 100 kilos. And I said, if you look at the quality of your 75 and your 80 kilos, it doesn't look anywhere near as good as your 95, your 97 and your 100. And it was,
really?
Yeah. And
it's usually the other way around.
It was purely a case of, for the 75 and 80, he was already thinking about the 100 kilos, and he was already thinking, I just want to get there. Just like scrap this, I just want to get there. And then once I'm there, that's when then I'll start switching on. That's when I'll start ramping it up and dialing in my technique. But I literally had a conversation with him and said, look, if you're confident with your 75, your 80 and your 85, like we had the conversation with Pewee recently, if you're confident with those numbers, then the next jump will still be with confidence, and you need to dial those percentages in. Your 70, your 75 and your 80%, that's where you build all of that technical that technical confidence in the movement that you're about to do. 85, 90, 95%, 100%. That's where then you're trying to hang on to as much of it as you possibly can.
Right, if you're moving like shit with 70%, does it bode well for 75 or 80?
And you know, if you move like shit with 70%, but then suddenly you move amazingly with 100%, it's because you just can't be asked with 70%, and you need to have a word with yourself to go, okay, I need to move as well as I can here. Then 30% upwards, I need to move the same.
It sounds like Tom Eales on competition day. Just like, can't be asked, and then smokes a PB on it.
Speaking of Tom Eales, I'm kind of waiting for messages about him. He's competing today.
Oh, is he?
So yeah, he's actually competing today in the inter-services. So good luck, Tom Eales.
Shout out Tom Eales.
It'll already be done by this point.
Yeah.
But,
Speaking of weightlifting competitions, I'm so out of the loop with this, so I'll let you explain. But I started CrossFit and weightlifting like 11 years ago. And they've probably changed the weight classes 6 times since then.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mad one again. So they've changed it for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, and it just seems like they're going back and forth.
I don't get it, because someone put the other day on that, you know, this is over the 2 kilo current snatch world record in whatever category he was in, but he said, I want to go for the all-time, 94 kilo category. And there's multiple eras now of the same weights where people have broken it. And I guess they're just doing it because everyone's on gear, but everyone's still on gear.
Yeah, it's a bit different now in terms of they've gone back to... So they've gone with the men's, they've gone 65 kilos, 75 kilos, 85 kilos, 95 kilos, 110 and 110 plus. Now, with the women, they've gone 53, 61, 69, 77, 86, and then 86 kilo plus. Now, what they're 1,000,000% missing from the women's is having that super heavy. So having instead of an 86 plus, have an 86 and a 96 kilo plus. Because the separation between the lightest 86 kilo plus and the heaviest 86 kilo plus is huge. You could be, you could be 140 kilos competing against someone who's 86 kilos.
Is that not an argument, though, that the person who was 80, let's say 90 kilos, because they're shorter, should just cut weight? Or are they're so far out of reach of 86?
Because usually the 86 kilo girls, like some of the 86 kilo or 86 plus girls, are taller. They're bigger athletes, and how can I word this? If you were to cut from the 86 maybe down, maybe their performance would be affected, or maybe they've tried it before and their performance is affected. You shouldn't really have to kind of, I think, cut weight at that top 86 kilo plus. I think it should go 86, then 96 kilo plus, because then what you'll start to have is a more competitive 86, more competitive than in terms of you won't have as big of a margin between the 86 and you've got some women who are 130 kilos. That's if you're lifting the same numbers comparatively, let's put this blatantly, right? If I was in a CrossFit gym and I weighed 130 kilos and you weighed 86 kilos and we both snatched 100 kilos, who would be the strongest?
The 86 kilo.
Exactly. But they're judged the same, and they're fighting
no weight
for the
classes in the jungle.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I just think it's...
You could say the same thing for the men's, though, because is it Pirasenko, the guy who lifted in his pants?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you'd have like an argument of like, let's say they were 105s at the time, and then it's 105 plus.
Yeah.
Is there an optimal weight? Because Lasher would weigh 170, and then you would have arguably someone cleaning almost the same as him, if not more, depending on what numbers he actually cleaned based on rumours, that weighs 40 kilos less. So I'm like, should they have another category that's like 125, or should you just have supers where you've got a 65 kilo disparity in weight? Like, obviously no one's going into a supers weighing 108 if it's 105. But
well, that's the thing as well. Is if you're going to change the category and you're going to add categories in and you're going to move things around, well then add more categories. Like add better,
it
like
becomes boxing then, where you've got every 3 pounds there's like a new division and there's not enough words to describe each fucking category.
Yeah, like do I really care? Does it affect me? No. Like I kind of get it when people are, obviously athletes. I think people like myself and, who are just like onlookers, I think some people go way too deep into it, and it's like, it's not affecting your life. Like, chill.
chill out,
like,
bro.
if you're an athlete who is like, an 85 or a 95 kilo athlete, and then suddenly your life's changed, be affected, speak up, if you need to. But yeah, I just think it's a bit like, it just seems like every year now they're just throwing numbers, and it just seems a bit random. And it's almost, as soon as like this World Championship, we had lots of new world records. Well, they're gone.
But the thing is, though,
it's you get to a point where you go, oh, what? Like,
I just don't. It makes me care less though, because I'll watch the Olympics now whenever it's on. And I won't have any relevance to when I was watching fucking Dmitry Klokov as a 105, and I'm like, this means nothing to me now.
Yeah, you're in a position where you go, yes, Carlos Nassar's broke a new world record, fantastic. But in a year, is it going to be here still?
But when you're watching the competition, it's almost like everyone building up to a certain weight breaks the world record, because there's either no world record set yet, and you break it 10 times in competition.
Yeah, whether or not maybe that was the thought process, maybe, I don't know. Again, if someone knows, please comment, and if you're in the know, brilliant, comment it. But I think maybe it's just, maybe it's done for the spectacle as well. I know it's 2028, so you've still got plenty of time to have competitions beforehand. To build up to those weights. But
when do they change? So they're changing it for 2028.
Yeah, so it's
now in
so
anticipation.
You're 12 events, 6 men, 6 women with constant. Yeah, so it's for the Olympics.
I've broke the stove, Charlie.
Oh no!
I pulled the. Oh fuck! I've been fidgeting with it and pulled the bolt out.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
So I think it's just a bit mad. It's just a bit. Just seems a bit random, and
I can't keep up anymore. Yeah. Anyway, right. I briefly saw this on Instagram because I follow Dorian Yates.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mike Mensa, rest in peace. Got Instagram.
Yeah.
And Dr. Mike Israetel.
Yeah.
So they've been having some beef, and like I really, really liked Mike Israetel and the whole. When it first came out, the science-based lifting, I thought this is cool because you're trying to prove what would actually be better.
Yeah.
And it made a lot of sense, and he's a really smart man, he's really articulate, and he makes his points really well. And they are really good points.
Yeah.
But then you start talking shit about Mike Mensa, and Dorian Yates gets involved. And when he makes the critiques of Dorian Yates' training, he is also giving it with a pinch of salt, saying, who am I? This is arguably one of the two greatest Mr. Olympians ever.
Of all time,
So Mike Israetel was saying that Mike Mensa was smaller than him.
He didn't know as much as him.
Not as smart as him. And then Dorian Yates basically just got pissed off with it and said, just because you can be bigger and you're a bag of shit, it just makes you a bigger bag of shit. So there's a lot of beef going on in the bodybuilding world at the minute.
I again, like you said, I quite like Dr. Mike as well. But you can't comment on. Well, you can comment, but Mensa was insane.
Yeah,
Mike Mensa was one of the best bodybuilders and in one of the best shapes of all time.
I can't remember what year it was, but he should have beat Arnold. There was a lot of you can go down conspiracies with anything, but basically there's gonna be favourites and there's gonna be human error and there's gonna be whatever you want to call it. But at whatever Mr. Olympia was, you could argue that he looked better than Arnold. I'm not an expert in bodybuilding by any stretch of the imagination, but just looking at it, I would think he genuinely looks better in everything they're looking for. He looks better. So the controversy is the science-based training, for anyone who doesn't know, is like reps in reserve and building up through the weeks and having deload, and it's structured training so that you minimize fatigue and get the best bang for your buck, which sounds great. Well, that sounds like, I'm not getting injured and I'm getting good training out of it. But Mike Mensa was like, train 3 times a week, push, pull, legs, and then you would rest as long as it takes until you come back around again. So your week might not look like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, push, pull, legs. It would be like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the following week might be like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, because you're resting of the recovery. More.
Yeah.
The bigger you get, the more you need to rest. So he would train legs once in like every 10 days. But I get the arguing of, could he potentially have been better if he trained differently? Maybe.
But he was still in incredible shape regardless.
Yeah, and then if that didn't solidify it enough that it was, that's what everyone did. Everyone did a bro split to some extent, and we've all done it in training, of training one muscle group a day.
Yeah.
Then Dorian Yates came along, took it to the extreme, and then if you ask me, is between him and Ronnie Coleman of the best Mr. Olympia ever.
Yeah, I think you've got to look at it with bodybuilding. It is it's all about looks, isn't it? It's how big you are, how cut you are. It's not about that. So if you took Mike Mensa and you took Dr. Mike and put them next to each other and went, which one looks better? You would have to say Mensa.
Of course. But then Dr. Mike would give the argument of, well, he's got better genetics than me. All the reasons under the sun. But fair enough.
Who cares? He still looked better than you. Long and short of it. Like if you're gonna call out someone's looks and say you know more than them about training, and you're stronger than them, you're bigger than them.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where you're not in a strength sport. It doesn't matter if you're bigger than him or stronger than him. You're in a sport that's judged purely on your sort of looks and how physique symmetry, and Mike Mensa had all that. Whereas, Dr. Mike, I've seen stuff about him saying that he's going to have surgeries to tighten up his waist.
He did have surgery.
Yeah, Mike Mensa didn't have any of that.
Yeah. So then, just to play devil's advocate, he was saying he bulked, did a proper dirty bulk when he was natural, got up to 120 kilos, and he's what, 5'6", 7", something like that. He's not a hugely tall guy. And then he said, I wouldn't do that again. If I was dieting, if I was bulking, it would be like I'm dieting, but just with more food. I'm still eating good food. So obviously avoid that in the future. And then if you eat in excess and you are a big guy for a long time, you will have excess skin. So I guess that's why you would have it. But his point he's making is, if these people with these insane level genetics, like Ronnie Coleman was going to be a freak regardless of how much he trained.
Yeah.
If he'd have trained like this, maybe he wouldn't be in the state he's in now. That would be nice if he was able to walk around.
But then also you go, it's all ifs, buts and maybes. And Ronnie Coleman himself has said he wouldn't change a thing, and the only thing he regrets is not going for an extra rep on the squats. Realistically, his legacy was built off of, squatting massive weight, leg pressing huge weight, dumbbell pressing massive dumbbells. That was what we saw
Screaming
as Ronnie Coleman was this giant genetic freak that could do these amazing weights. If you took that away from him and said, Ronnie Coleman's just doing 120 kilo squats for sets of 20 reps, would he be, yes, he could maybe look a little bit better, maybe he could walk around more now, or maybe his spine would be intact, maybe. But then you go, well, the legacy of Ronnie Coleman isn't the same Ronnie Coleman. He would just be he would be another normal bodybuilder who had a very good physique. You've got bodybuilders now who have won big events who you couldn't probably name. But then you've also got bodybuilders who maybe haven't won as much, but just had that freakiness about them.
Who's the guy that won Mr. Olympia this year? Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So you again.
I think it's Derek Lunsford.
Yeah.
The point is, he's not like a name.
It's not a household name. You've got your C-bums and stuff like that.
Yeah. But the other thing is, it's anecdotal, isn't it? So you look at people who do the bro split, like Chris Bumstead, Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, Jay Cutler. They all trained that way, and they go, well, here's your fucking proof. We are the best in the world. We're winning it, and we're doing this. So if that's not enough proof for some people, what more do you need?
Yeah. Yeah, and it comes on to another point that I kind of wanted to talk about. So, he's obviously called him out, which is a bit mad because
who's called who out? Mike.
Well, Mike is basically Mike is not called Mensa out, but kind of started just basically saying, "Oh, I'm better than him." Yeah. I think if you're willing to do that, if you're a coach or anyone who's willing to do that, you have to have that serious quality about you. You know what I mean? So the quality of your coaching and or your physique in his case, his sport, like I said, is all about his physique. It would be like me in my sport calling out one of the best Olympic lifting coaches in the world and saying, I know better. Well, then I better be so fucking switched on.
Does not know what he's on about.
I need to be so switched on with what I do, how I move. Everything in my sort of circle needs to be precise and perfect. And with Dr. Mike, it kind of isn't.
But they've got Jared Feather, haven't they, who's got his IFBB Pro and he trains scientifically, and they're like, well, here's the proof. But that's I know it's very new, and I know that's their only sort of push forward. But it is one guy, and then you got Hammy Rambod, who's got everyone who's ever won anything, and he doesn't train like that. So you could argue there's more proof the other way.
Yeah. I think that because of the whole Instagram and social media thing, I really struggle when not to name names or not to call anyone out, but with coaches that are coaching a sport.
Call them out.
Yeah, the coaches that are coaching a sport where maybe they're new to it, or maybe they lack the experience, but then they proceed to talk about it as if they have that experience. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Like it's gospel.
Like
yeah.
their way is the only way, but they haven't been in it, they haven't done it, they haven't.
What is the curve called? So if you're watching this, there's a graph between like time in whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu is a perfect example from because literally being there, you do something for a few weeks and you're like, oh my God, I'm learning this really good. I know exactly what I'm doing. And then you realize as you get further into it, I don't actually know anything at all.
Yeah.
And then you very slowly
build your way back
start
up
to learn.
Yeah.
So when you get into, you do your level 1 in CrossFit and you start coaching, and you watch a few videos where you've got fucking Mike Bergner showing you barbell warm-ups.
Yeah.
And everything you see is gospel. Everything you
OG.
see is black and white. And this is how it works. I get it now. And then you go out and you meet coaches and they make you question everything you've ever known because you just feel like an idiot because they're so much better at you than you will ever be at your job. So you're down in the gutter. And then you slowly piece yourself back together and slowly start figuring it out as you go. And then 15 years down the line, we'll talk. I imagine me and you have both been there and we've met. As soon as you speak to Justin, you go, fuck. Very early on in the career of coaching, you think, this guy really, really lives and breathes it. He knows what he's on about. And then we're somewhere now, 10 years later, on the incline to just consistently learning. Like, we're never going to get to the end because there is no end.
No.
But as long as you can get better at whatever you're doing.
And I think the main thing is, you're not always going to be right and you're not always going to be perfect. Someone could be looking at me now and going, oh, I don't really agree with what he's doing there. I don't really agree with what he's done there. And it would be absolutely fair enough if that's what they think.
Yeah.
What my thing is, it isn't gospel. There's more ways, to work it and to progress in weightlifting. But the thing that we're seeing a lot of now in our sort of field is, like you said, people going down into that dip where they don't know anything and then portraying that they do know something. They don't want to spend the time in building themselves back up. They just suddenly go, well, I'm going to scrap all that and suddenly go, no, I am right.
I'm doubling down
and
on
you
this.
Go, oh man,
because you've got one study, and it is a lot with the science-based lifting kids where they got their cuffs and they got a belt attaching their arm to their fucking side, and they're doing tricep extensions.
But it's just if you are going to coach or have an opinion on someone, make sure that your shit is on lock. If you're gonna I don't know, teach someone how to clean, make sure you can clean real well.
Show me what you mean.
Show me that you can clean. Don't turn up and go, oh yeah, I'm going to teach you how to clean, and then I watch you clean and go,
Did I tell you what happened with it? I was doing muscle ups before, and I think I was coaching the class, and there was a guy there who was like very new to coaching, but really, really keen. And he was like, nice guy, like he was sound actually. But I was doing muscle ups, and he was saying, no, you want to get, and this is in front of class as well, so it was a bit of like, are you challenging me whilst I'm coaching? So I was doing muscle ups and I was like, okay at them, right? They looked smooth, they looked good. You can do like 20 in a row. I would say that's competent at muscle ups. Anyway, I was doing them and he was saying, no, you need to keep everything a lot tighter. And whatever he said, like pop your hips to the bar. And I said, I thought I'm doing that. I thought I'm doing it all. He goes, no, you're, and then starts labeling off really specific terms about your body and what you need to do. Can't remember what he said. Anyway, I said, okay, show me what you mean. He said, I can't do a muscle up. I went, well, shut the fuck up then. Don't call me out in the middle of class. But then you look like a tit because of that. So hopefully, if nothing else, you would learn then to not call people out if you can't physically do something yourself.
Yeah. It's back yourself by all means. And, have the humility to be wrong as well. Like I've gone into plenty of situations where, like you said, I thought I've known quite a lot. And then I've spoken to someone and gone, oh my, I am way out of my depth here. But then I've had the humility to go, okay, this person clearly knows more than me. I'm going to sit here and like a sponge. I'm just going to sit there, digest as much as I possibly can from them, go away from that conversation and then go, how could I have reacted better? How could I have learnt more? How could I have done that? And then come back when we have another conversation and go, okay, now I don't feel so, out of place
scenario though, because if you come away from something and like you always... Whenever this happens to you in real time, like this is the oldest you've ever been, this is the furthest you've been down this road of coaching. Yeah. Whereas if you look back on it, 10 years ago I didn't know anything, you're okay with that because it was the past. If someone sort of corrects you now, don't be dogmatic and this is the only way it is. Like, I'm definitely
listen
right.
to it.
Because you walk out of that, if you actually take it on board and you're smarter, and then you've got the rest of your life then, or your coaching career, to have whatever extra knowledge you've just gained from someone.
Yeah. And, you know, even this far into my coaching career, I'm still learning things all the time. Like every day I'll learn something slightly different, or maybe a new cue or a new feeling, or an athlete will tell me something about how they feel and I go, oh, I haven't heard that one before. And then I have to try and learn to adapt to that or deal with that situation. And you have to be, again, humble enough to go, okay, I don't know everything. I'm going to relearn something. Like don't be too stubborn on your knowledge of, right, okay, this is it for the rest of my life. Don't be afraid to kind of go, oh, I was wrong then. I was wrong in my approach there. I need to relearn how to approach that situation as well.
Yeah. Do you ever remember a podcast called The Mind Muscle Connection? Those two Australian guys.
Yeah.
So they always had a question they would give to guests who are, usually most of the guests had to do with strength and conditioning anyway. And they would say, tell us something you've recently, or this year, you found out you were wrong about, or you've changed your opinions on. And it was always good because there was always something in someone's mind where they could like go to. Like, oh, I messed up here. I was actually wrong with this.
Yeah.
There's one, I know we were going to talk about, like people always ask questions about fueling for training and things like that, and it's very much the same, so we're not going to go over it. But I was always sold that, you know, electrolytes, really, really good for training. Like those element ones are really nice, and you feel good when you're training, but it might be a placebo effect. There was a study that came out now about like you're overdoing it if you have electrolytes on top of everything else. So basically, as long as you salt your food, if you have 3 meals a day and you have some salt with your food, and you drink enough water, that's literally it. Like, you're fine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So don't stress about it. So for me, that would be one of those things where
You have to almost learn it again. Yeah.
Well, you just stop telling people.
on,
You look at the information and you go, right, that makes sense to me. Do I understand it? Yes. Is it worthwhile keeping it in for your athletes or whatever? Yeah. That's fine.
Absolutely.
And it'd save you money as well, because electrolytes are mega expensive.
Yeah. So the next topic I wanted to talk about was carrying on from coaching, was the most influential people in your sport or life that have come in maybe through watching athlete on TV, or maybe you've gone to a gym and you've had a new coach and they've been really sort of inspirational to what you've kind of come to. Have you got anyone in mind that springs to mind straight away that you go, wow, okay, they really inspired me?
You said this here. So me and Charlie usually sit down before the podcast and just kind of go over what we're doing. You said this, and I was like, I can't think of anyone, because there's never been like that level of athlete, especially when I was younger, that I looked up to and I was like, I want to be like them. There was never anyone around like that. I literally cannot think of anyone that I've gone, wow, they're a really good role model. I want to be like them. The only time I met someone and I thought, you are just different than anything I know, the way you carry yourself, the way you are. I met Jason Kalipa one time, and he was he just looked like thicker than anyone you've ever seen. Like, he just looked insane, like professional CrossFit athlete. And this is when he just stopped competing. And he was just the nicest, most positive guy for the 3 hours that he was sort of there for, and it was the most refreshing thing in the world to be around someone. Because you know what it's like when you show up at the gym, you're like, oh, how's it going, Charlie? You right, man? And you're like, oh, I'm a bit tired.
Yeah, I'm not good. Yeah.
I know two boys who started a podcast, and they opened with that. I was like, how you doing, man? And he goes, oh, I'm a bit tired. And I turned it off. I thought, I'm not listening to this shit.
Yeah.
So when you meet, there's a lot of that around, don't get me wrong. Like, we live in South Wales, it's miserable as fuck. Everyone's sort of got
raining.
Everyone's got something to moan about. So to meet someone who was so positive, that was really refreshing to me. But in the sense of having someone to look up to, especially as a younger athlete, no, I can't think of anyone, cool. Which is really sad.
Yes, that's, because I was genuinely, I was thinking about this question, and I was thinking who inspired me to maybe go into weightlifting, who inspired me to take up sport, and the obvious ones, you got your family members, I had stories of my dad playing football and playing rugby at a good level and doing motocross and doing all sorts. So I used to think, he's like Superman, because you could ride a motorbike and do this, and it was like, whoa, okay, I really want to do that. And then I also my stepbrother, I think he was probably my first, because obviously he's your brother.
How much older is he than you?
he's older than me, so he's 42.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so he's 42, 43. But he was someone who was 6'4", and built, not like built, but he was just really thick set, big lad.
I think built back in the day
big
was
lump of
different
a
as
lad.
well,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
but he was extremely good at football. He was extremely good at basketball. He was just very talented in sport. So when I used to go out and play, go play football with him, go play basketball with him, or whatever, and I was this really small kid, I'd look up to him and be like, wow, this guy is absolutely incredible. And then I remember we played a football match once, and I was obviously a really young kid, probably 11, 12, and I remember watching him play in a seniors match, and he had like trials for like Man City and stuff way back in the day. He was very, very high level. He was just genetic. He was just very good at sport. But watching him, I remember watching him back in the day, watching him like run past people or like just be physical. And I remember just thinking, wow, I want to be good at this, because it's just because of him. But yeah, I was thinking about it as well, in terms of, because we've been doing this so long, I thought, who made us do this? Like, because it must have been
getting bullied in school.
Yeah, there must have been a reason why, I started weightlifting because someone in the gym told me about CrossFit and whatnot. But then the thing that really kicked me off and kept me interested in it was the All Things Gym and the Cali Strength and
100%.
That kind of stuff. But I didn't really have like a role model in my life at that point that made me do those things.
You said that about your brother, and I felt really bad then, because I was like, my mum had a cap for Wales rugby. So she was like, but I never watched her play, so it wasn't like something that strikes my mind, my mum really inspired me. Like, I'm sure if I got to watch her play, I'd be like, that's awesome.
That's class.
But because she had kids and stopped playing everything, she sort like, I never got to see it. Me and my sister never got to see it. I didn't have an older brother. My sister's got me, so I can only apologise to Charlotte for not having anyone to look up to. And by all accounts, my dad was like decent at rugby as well. But because you never saw it, you just saw them as mum and dad. And when you're a teenager, the last person you want to look up to is like, oh, shut up, Dad. What do you know? And then you get a little bit older and realise...
You go, they're sound.
Yeah, they actually gave up everything so you could have an opportunity to do whatever you want.
Yeah, and I think with your kind of celebrities and stuff like that, you can look up to your footballers, you can look up to your rugby players, you can look up to your weightlifters, you can look up to whoever you want. But it's actually seeing it like live in front of you, and you can be with that person, I think it just hits so different.
I remember seeing for the first time, my dad took me with all the other, it was like a football trip, so all the other dads and your mates were there. We went to watch Wales play someone in the Millennium Stadium, and I saw Ryan Giggs for the first time in real life, and I was looking at it going, I can't believe this is real. I've never seen a celebrity before. I've only seen you on Match of the Day on a Saturday morning before football. And like my eyes were trying to adjust to actually seeing this person in real life in front of me.
This guy is real.
I couldn't get my little head around it, the fact that the celebrities are actually real people.
They're actually playing,
I think it'd break my heart if I met someone at that age and they were just a dick.
Yeah, it'd
be like a Stan moment.
But yeah, I'm going to have another think about this, but it's mad how we've made these decisions in our lives that have literally shaped our lives, but there was no real push or thought of, oh, he's doing it, I really want to do it. It was just somehow we've managed on this course, It's a bit mad when you think about it.
And like, The Longest Yard, when they said, what the hell's Caretaker smiling about? And all those dudes like Terry Crews and who's the American footballer that plays Deacon, I think his name's Deacon Moss. It's either in real life or that's his character.
Yeah,
anyway, they're walking down the steps in slow-mo and they're all jacked as fuck. And I watched that at like 10 years old and went, I want to go to the gym. It's like you see things that you wouldn't normally see day to day, but everyone's got they started going to the gym because their missus left them, or they got bullied, or there's usually some sort of negative thing to it. It's very rarely. Everything's going great.
Outcome.
I just want to get strong.
Yeah. But the influential side of things, I'm going to ask you a question here that I haven't asked you yet. So, who do you think has been the most influential CrossFit athlete?
Rich Ronan.
Do you think?
So 100%.
Right, okay, so go on, elaborate. How do you think it's Rich Ronan?
The golden era of CrossFit was, I would say...
Now, let me stop you there. Is this based on kind of...
Me?
Is this based on...
You can't have a factual answer to this fucking... Like, no fucking way.
Okay,
if you broke it down, right, who's done the most in CrossFit? Tiatoumi's won the most. Good first place individual medals.
Tiatumi.
Yeah. But CrossFit was just different in 2013, 14, 15, 16.
You had to be there, bro.
Mate, you had to be there. Honestly, The media team, before they all got sacked, were on fire.
Yeah.
The promotions they did, the road to the games, the open workouts, all of it was just on another level.
Yeah.
And that's what got me into it. You see this video of, I remember watching a video, it was like Mike Thurston and someone else, and they're like, all they do is train to look good. And there was those two in a gym, and I was like, oh, fucking bored of this. Clicked off it. First video I ever saw Rich Froning in better shape than both of these two guys doing like the functional sport.
Yeah.
And I thought, what are these lot doing? That looks awesome. And those like 4, 5, 6 years where he was on top, absolutely smashing it, that was the best time to be there. So he was the original, like, we'll never see another Rich Froning again. And then Matt Fraser comes out and just,
That's why the question gets really interesting, because you go, well, Froning hasn't won the most, and Fraser was arguably in a let's say a pool of athletes who are actually better than Froning. Like Froning arguably got out of the sport at the right time.
Well, he beat him and then left. But if the question you were asking though, who is better?
Who's the best and who's the most influential can be totally different.
Matt Fraser was better than Rich Froning. As a well-rounded athlete, he was better. But in the time, Rich Froning was the best thing since sliced bread. He got everyone into it. He looked better than everyone. He just didn't get tired. He would just piss all over people. I remember there's a regional event and it was like 100 chest to bar, 100 wall balls, 100 pistols. And you just look around and there was no one next to him. He would just smash it. But then Matt Fraser's
done the same. And Tiatumi's done even worse. Tiatumi has done it in events where it's male and female, events where they're both at the same time. And she's been keeping up with some of the best male athletes. And it's like minutes ahead of the next female. I think
they both won the games like with a day to go, I think, as well. But there was one regionals where Matt Fraser came out, I want to say like 2018, and he was just snarling at the camera, like a Mike Tyson video, walking someone down when he's just eyeing them up. His top lip was going, he was just staring down the field, and he won like 6 events back to back in a row. No one came close.
I think as well, watching Froning in the, again, I'm not that massive on CrossFit. You know when they used to announce the open workouts and they would have like a 1v1 and it was like you had Froning and someone else.
Bailey.
Yeah, Dan Bailey. And it would be, right, this is the workout, go. And it would be rep for rep. They would set their best time and then everyone on the Friday would be like, oh, okay, I can't wait to do this. I remember watching one where it was Froning and, who was it? I can't even remember who it was. It was Froning and someone else. And they literally Froning just went rep for rep with him. And it was every time he put the bar down, Froning would just do one more and then put the bar down. And then he would do his set.
I want to say Jason Khalipa.
Yeah, and then Froning would just do one more. And it was always just that one rep ahead. And he was the first person in this sport, in CrossFit, that I thought was just a mentality monster. Like you saw the Dan Baileys, the Khalifas, the Josh Bridges, everyone, they were all very, very strong, very fit, very capable, athletes. But Froning suddenly then started applying like the mental games to it. Like I'm going to wait for you to drop your dumbbell. I'm going to do 2 more and put it down.
He was just smart with it, though.
It was just always this game. That's what I mean. It was almost this game plan element to CrossFit started to come in. And then you started to see more people being like, tactics. Okay, I have a tactic for this workout, not just I'm going to try and go win. It was like, okay, this event I'm going to try and place at this because I know the next event I've got this that I'm going to, it was always then, it was more than just turn up, do the workout.
Do you know what it did come down to at the end of the day with him? Where, how smart he is, like tactics. He was just fitter than everyone else.
Yeah,
like everyone
just a
would
machine.
say that this is what annoyed me with the mental toughness or when people say they just go to a place where nothing hurts
Deep
and they
waters.
just keep pushing. He's just fitter than you, so he's pushing at the same level you are, but his heart rate is 160 and yours is 190.
Yeah, he's always got another rep in him.
He's just not.
He's got that extra.
Can you
remember though when he walked on the run
and
everyone lost their mind. Everyone was like, Froning's
Hands
finished.
On his head,
oh my god!
Breathing.
And didn't they ask him afterwards? And they were like, oh, why did you walk? And he was like, because I couldn't run.
Yeah.
So it was like, what do you want me to do? Stop?
He didn't eat after that because he said, I don't deserve to eat.
Yeah.
And then he
just punished himself.
And then he was in the second heat, and then he absolutely hammered the thruster pull-up work. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but he kicked the arse off.
I think as well, Froning had that. I think Froning had the storyline behind him as well, which helps his legacy. Where you remember the workout where he lost the games, where he did the rope climbs and he couldn't quite get up the rope, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, you should have won it," but you couldn't. And then it was all that legacy of well, is it hype? Is he going to be able to do it next year?
Yeah.
And then it kind of built that legendary status of, well, he's done it once. Is he fit enough to do it again? And then obviously, you know, he went on. And how many did he win? Was it 4?
11, 12, 13, 14.
Yeah,
And then Ben Smith won 15.
Yeah, and then obviously, you know,
Matt Fraser was
he
like
gets out at the right time, and then Fraser comes in and starts absolutely smoking people.
Yeah.
But talking about the boys, you have to mention
Like we know them.
Yeah, you have to mention Tia Toomey in this argument, because what she has done in the sport of CrossFit is just freaky.
I remember the first year she came about, because it was Catherine Davidsdottir won it in 2015. Yeah, Camille Blank won it in 2014. Davidsdottir won it in 2015. And Tia Toomey came second on her first.
It's mad when you're saying these names, because I haven't heard those names in so long, but as soon as you said it, an image of the CrossFit Games and like the old nanos and like everything, it was just like bling bling.
Kit.
Yeah, it was like bling bling bling.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. I like some of these people I don't follow on Instagram. I haven't heard Camille Blanc-Bazin name for years, but it's still stuck in your head somewhere.
Yeah.
Tia Toomey came out and she was kind of like really quiet, never got an interview, because you had like Savon Matosian doing all the videos and stuff for the CrossFit Games. And they would only go to like the big names. So no one went to Tia Toomey that first year because they didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
And then she came back and just won absolutely everything. She was just so well-rounded and like a really, really good runner, which was the opposite to what Rich Froning initially was. He was just good at CrossFit, whereas she's Olympic bobsledder.
Yeah.
At the Winter Games.
Commonwealth gold.
In the weightlifting.
Olympic
and then the most decorated female athlete, if not athlete, in the CrossFit Games
I think what she's done in terms of her dominance, though, is bigger than pretty much anyone in the sport. Like, to do all of the other sports and always come back to CrossFit and still win is just bonkers. You know, like how many athletes in any field, any sport can say, like halfway through, I'm going to go do a high rocks now, and then I'll come back with a couple of weeks training and win the CrossFit Games. Or
I mean, they are
I'll go have a kid and then come back and win the CrossFit Games. It's
not like she plays rugby and then she's going off and doing marathons. Like they're slightly different things, but doing a high rocks and doing other elements of CrossFit will only Alex Smith took time off and just did loads of weightlifting and then cleaned 180 with Thor at that one event and then came back to CrossFit. But they're very closely related sports, you know?
Yeah. So you're saying Froning?
I'm saying Froning, yeah.
I think...
just for me.
Yeah.
Right, I can open the cage on the dog.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like just the memories. I think I would go Froning because I think he helped actually grow the sport into what it is now. Yeah, and then 100%. You've got the likes of Fraser that actually then just took it on and started to produce then the next wave of CrossFit athletes.
I think without Rich Froning and without all the stuff before it never would have got to where it is now.
No.
I think it had to be there. And it's one of those things that like, you had to be there, man. Like, it was just better. Like, there's montages now of like the 2014 games with like rose-coloured glasses, sort of like tints on it, and you think
the Dan Bailey sprint video when he's doing the slalom course. Yeah, is Dan
Bailey on steroids?
I don't think. Why wouldn't he be now? Like, why wouldn't
was Dan Bailey on steroids? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
where he was competing, but no one's built like that.
Yeah, but like most like Kalipa and like people like that, you're huge, man.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously they didn't have the testing that they do now in terms of the athlete. And even with the CrossFit athletes now, it's never really the top 1, 2, or 3 get popped. It's like some random...
I reckon Ricky Garrard was a fucking scapegoat.
Yeah.
I genuinely think, because he was really open about people taking SARMs, I think at the time, that's what he got caught with. Yeah. So in the documentary where they caught him, they said, do you think people are on steroids? And Matt Fraser was going, I don't know anyone on steroids. All the top guys were like, no. And then he was going, yeah. Because he was taking it. But I think they had him and they have some of the team athletes to be like, see, we are testing. Yeah. And I think that was a bit of a punishment to him for being so open about it. I think if he'd have watched his mouth, I reckon a bit more clever with they would have just gone, don't worry about it.
You go, though, every time you see a CrossFit athlete get popped, it's always, the 18th place male in the CrossFit Games suddenly gets popped, and you go, I've never heard of him. Why would we want to see him popped?
They're not tarnishing their name of the best in the world. This is still the best training methodology, and they're sending some lambs to the slaughter of people you never.
It's the same in weightlifting where it's like the sacrificial lamb of the country. It's like, okay, China is extremely juicy. You know, one of them are going to get popped, but who is it going to be?
never Lu Xiaoyao.
Yeah. Well, it was him, but after he had finished.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was like he finished, he lost a load of weight, started coming back in, and then it was, okay, he suddenly popped. And you go, well,
but he's done his bit.
he's done his bit. That's what I mean. So it's like,
Yeah.
you've done your bit, you've earned your reputation, you've earned the medals, you've earned everything. And yes, now you are going to be sacrificed to
Thank
the gods.
you for your service.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Animal Farm by George Orwell?
No.
Basically, it's like a satire book about how communism like starts. Anyway, there's a character in there called Boxer, who's a workhorse who just works and works and works and works, and he's like so loyal to the pigs, which are like the Joseph Stalins of the world.
Right.
Anyway, this horse does everything for his country, that works so hard, and as soon as he is not useful to them anymore, they send him to an abattoir and have him killed.
Yeah.
And it's literally
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
do.
yeah.
It's literally what they do. I think if, you know, like the big Russian names, like I always say Klokov because I can't fucking think of any others off the top of my head, but I think if he wasn't such a household name and doing so much after weightlifting or for the country, they would have.
Yeah.
They'd throw him under the bus.
But the yeah. So I would say I would probably go with Fronin too.
I'd say Fronin.
I would say Fronin.
I was there at the time. It was the one for me.
Yeah.
If you ask someone who's, you know, someone now, they're probably going to say, oh, you know, Jason Hopper's the most influential person, because that's just all they see for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas my 10, 11 years of at least watching the CrossFit Games, Rich Fronin, 100%.
Should we end on some questions?
Yeah, so there's a few things we got down. Movember.
Yeah.
Neither of us have done Movember, but we both had.
I think just the importance of it. I think a client of mine, I'm just saying this now because a client of mine is doing like a Movember lift off. So he's doing a snatch or a lift every day for the full. Full
Does he raise
duration.
money with it?
Yeah, so he's going to raise money for it, and it just got me thinking. Really, just that element of how good a training session can be when it's just you and your mates. You know, how beneficial to the cause of this. You know, Movember and raising awareness. I think there's been so many times in my life where I've been in maybe a bad state or a sorry state, or maybe, anxious or whatever, something's happening in your life, and having that escape of, you can text your mate, say, look, meet me at the gym. We'll go chuck some music on, sling some weights around. And the refreshing feeling after that session is so, so important.
It seems like little things you don't realise you need about it. Like, I think Dozer was making a video about his favourite routine was, before driving to meet his mates at the gym for Big Friday or Max Out Friday, stopping at like a gas station and buying an energy drink.
Yeah,
like, I love the process.
Just the exciting feeling. Yeah,
and it's the really small things like that. If you can't get happy about that, like what can you get happy about? But I think I'm a little bit out of touch with it because I don't have a. Like, don't get me wrong. I've had times where I'm like, fucking hell, like this is shit. If this is what life is, like I don't want to do this. If this is all there is, but then you realise when you actually start looking after the things you probably need to look after, like you've got a good friendship group around you. Like you don't see your mates that much anymore, but you've got good people at the gym. I see you every week and we sit down and talk some shit.
Yeah.
But I still lift weights. I'm still doing all these things. So I'm almost out of touch in the sense that I don't struggle with it. But I feel like if those things weren't in place,
you would struggle.
I
think you do struggle. You would struggle without it, and you would realize how much you miss it if you didn't. Like if you had that taken away from you now, the impact it would have on your life, not being able to just de-stress of, okay, even if you could still training with your boys, your mates, it's
different.
It's like no other feeling you could have. And I would encourage anyone, if you are struggling, you can use the gym as a positive. You can use the gym to, clear your head and become healthy and feel strong and feel fit and learn and, create a new mental state of, okay, you're going to the gym to learn and to better your knowledge in, your body and movements and things like that. But just having that friendship group, or just having a friend where you could just say, look, meet me at the gym and we'll just chat shit, train, or sometimes you don't even chat.
It doesn't gotta be about like
no,
mental health.
It's just having that aspect in your life where you go to the gym. Like I had a session recently with a group of lads down in Cardiff. We had a session. I'm not in a bad place mentally, but I didn't have the best of sessions. But I tell you what, it was fun. Yeah. And I left there, even after having a bad session, a long day in work and all these things, I left there going, oh, yeah, that was good fun. That was the one. And I needed that. And I think, yeah, it's just important to just, well, obviously check up on your mates as well, check up on your mates now and again, drop them a message, and if you can, have a session, sling some tin. You always feel better after slinging some tin or doing a CrossFit or doing a high rocks.
Boys club.
Yeah,
like,
exactly
there's some people who come to the boys club, but they do not see anyone else all week. Yeah. It is just like they work from home. They don't train with anyone else. It's just us on a Sunday morning. Yeah. Which just saying, I'm gonna push that door shut.
Yeah.
I did have a question though.
Yeah.
Off one of my clients regarding dieting.
Yeah.
In December.
Yeah.
So the December diet, which is, I'm like, you have to have balance with this. It's my birthday coming up on Saturday. Like, I'm eating really well at the minute because I know I'm 31.
Fuck.
I basically I had a stomach issue, so I've anytime I eat anything bad, it just immediately makes me feel like shit, and like white monsters can't have anymore, which is really sad. I might have one on my birthday. So what I'm saying is, I'll eat really well up until a special day. I'll eat whatever I want on my birthday. I will not care unless I feel really, really, really bad straight away. I'm just gonna have a day of it and just be like, you know what, fuck it. So the problem people usually have with dieting during December is, fuck it, it's Christmas. The 4th of December becomes, fuck it, it's Christmas. And they just eat whatever they want up until probably the start of January, because it is quite easy to start a new diet, especially if the 1st of January is a Monday. Perfect.
Yeah.
But if you want to still somewhat have control, eat really well up until the 23rd, 24th, have 4 or 5 days of it and then just bring it back in, rather than having 30 days of just eating crap. Don't let it slip. That was my advice. And he went, oh yeah, I never really thought about it like that before.
Yeah. The thing is as well, you bang on. If you just go, right, bugger it, I'm just going to eat what I want for the month. In January, everyone or most people go, right, I'm going to lose a little bit of weight now. I'm going to start getting into the gym, starting gaining a bit of fitness. If you've just had a month's worth of filling yourself with absolute nonsense, that month of January is going to be so hard.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just went, right, okay, like you said, you have your Boxing Day, your Christmas Eve, whatever, and you have a couple of days or you have a week or so where you just go, I'm just going to enjoy Christmas. Yeah. You've only had a week, you've enjoyed it. Then come January, you haven't got as big of a,
an issue to fix.
You haven't got a massive issue to fix. You can fix it within a week, and you're already ahead of your goals going into the next part.
100%. You just said January then and gave me the PTSD I forgot about every year. The which is fantastic for the gyms. Don't get me wrong. Like the gym I work at is class, but the influx of people in January. Imagine a Globo gym or what's the one in town? JD. Yeah. Imagine that in January.
Yeah, it's gonna be carnage. It's gonna be carnage. But the December diet, I think, is you've just got to think logically.
Yeah.
And also as well, I don't know if it's just me or not, but when you have a week of eating badly, or not even badly, but a week of eating what you want, drinking what you want, going out, having fun, whatever. After that week, I'm pretty much done.
It's out of your system.
And again, I'm not a diet freak. I'm not someone who counts every single, microcalorie they'll ever have. And I will have the occasional takeaway, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But when you've had that for so long, you do just go, oh, I'm sick of this now.
All you can eat holiday, right? At what point, if you were there for 2 weeks, at what point do you go, I just want to go back.
I just want to eat normal. I just want to have some chicken and rice.
I don't want to stuff myself with pancakes every single morning, but I will because I'm here.
Yeah, because it's free.
We went to Turkey for 2 weeks, and after 9 days, I was just like, I can't do this.
I'm so full of food.
I don't want to be waiting on hand and foot. I want to go back to work. It's just
So December diet, choose a week, have some fun,
4 or 5 days,
and then January. You're in a much better position.
Back on it. Right, do you want to finish with, because we put a thing on Instagram about questions and stuff.
Yep.
You've obviously got your phone in front of you.
Yep.
I saw Pewee asked a few questions. There's always a few good ones on there.
Yeah. So
there's always the same inappropriate ones that someone asked about Lego and some sort of bodily cavity that we're not going to go into.
Yeah. So you've got, you wanted to do that one, did you?
Which was it? Define a weightlifting snob slash C word.
Yeah.
I think it's just the elitist in everything. What I do is better than you, and they sort of scoff at you. It's like, you do CrossFit, I do high rocks, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you get that with everything, unfortunately. It's not actually an issue with the sport, it's an issue with the person, and no matter what you're doing, no matter how lame the sport, you will still get someone that tells you snooker is the hardest sport in the world.
Yeah. You've just hit the nail on the head there. Like, I can't add to that. Yeah, you got another one here. How to plan your goals going into the new year. So carrying on with
eat shit for 4 days. Get it out of your system, and then carry on as normal. The absolute worst thing you do though is try and diet over Christmas Day. Like,
just have fun, enjoy it, man.
Unless you've got a bodybuilding show where you are really, really gonna like seriously win some money or change your life, just enjoy the day Christmas with your family. Have a glass of whiskey. Chill out, and then you'll be more inclined to get back to it when you feel like, you know what, I've had 4 days of eating what I want. I feel a bit crap.
My best bit of advice for gym goals, right, okay, is over Christmas, you're going to have this overwhelming sense of motivation. You'll have this thing of January's coming, Monday's coming, I'm going to start, I'm going to smash it, I'm going to be all this, blah, blah, blah. Plan your goals as if your motivation isn't there. Okay? Because when you plan your goals, you're motivated, you're flying, you're thinking, right, okay, I'm going to snatch 200 kilos, I'm going to be the best, I'm going to do all this. And then all of a sudden January comes and it's cold and it's wet and it's miserable, and you get into the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden you start thinking that's going to take ages for me to do it. And all of a sudden then you're more than likely going to cut that and just, stop what you're doing. So make your goals achievable, and give yourself a quick, I would say, to help with that sort of dopamine fix as well, is give yourself a short-term goal that can be done within the first month. So keep it as simple as possible to reward yourself of, if it is gym related, that you go in, you go, right, okay, I want to do this or do that, do this, that then leads on to bigger goals. Don't just say, okay, my only goal for the year is to run an ultra marathon when you haven't run a single day in your life. Go, right, okay, my first goal in the first month is to run 20 minutes non-stop, or 5K or whatever, just try and get your goals to be like almost bite size. So you're not going into February going, well, I've already sacked off everything and I'm going back to eating loads of crap again.
Think what people do as well, and what I've done, is let's say you have a week off for work over Christmas, and you're like, right, I'm going to run in the morning and I'm going to lift in the evening. And you're sort of in your schedule when you got loads of free time. Whereas in reality, when you go back to work and like, you've got the kids before or after work or whatever, and you've only got 45 minutes to train, curb your enthusiasm with trying to get double days training in, and unless you're Tom Eels and you can make it work. Like, you're not going to be training for 2 hours a day. Just do the absolute minimum amount you can to get the most from. And if you get that done, then add more to it. But don't get carried away with, right, I got a week off, this is my new schedule, because that isn't real life. Absolutely bang on. Just be realistic. Make them enjoyable as well. January is a hard time for most people. Hard maybe financially, hard because the weather's so cold, weather's shit, darker nights, darker mornings. You're in a place where it's hard. January, February, you're in a hard place. So make your goal an enjoyable one that you can go, I actually want to do this goal, not a goal which is so hard, which you're thinking, every time you have to go and do that goal, you go, oh God. I think you should have goals. Like, the goals they should scare you in some way, but I mean, you should enjoy them as well. Anyone who's doing an Ironman has to have some sort of enjoyment from either running, swimming, or cycling, or just like getting out and exercising. Like, you can't hate what you're doing.
No.
If my goal was to, right, I want to drink 400 pints by the end of January and get better at darts, like, I'm not going to do it because I just don't care. I've got no level of enjoyment in that.
No.
Whereas, I want to squat 240 kilos, like that. That's quite a cool thing to me.
No, absolutely. How long have we been?
About an hour.
About an hour. Do you want to do one more?
Yeah, go on.
Right. Okay. So we have got a few. Is the S&C Power Comp happening in 2026? So I don't know if you can remember this. I would love to do it. It depends on if we've got the time and space to do it.
Time is not our friend at the minute.
No.
Probably.
So with the changes in your life and changes in the pod's life as well, moving and trying to expand into different places, I think
Can we say who we're trying to get on the podcast, or just leave it?
we'll leave them in suspense with that one, I think.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, I
Putin.
would love for the power comp to happen. But
that'd be
maybe towards the end of next year, maybe. What happens if the enhanced athletes break the current Olympic records?
They get 500 grand.
Yeah, maybe is he saying, what happens to people's views on the Olympics if they break it?
If I saw Wes Kitts go and break the world record now, I would just think they're taking more steroids than the people who are in the Olympics. It doesn't make me think that everyone in the Olympics is clean.
Yeah, I think the drug use is so open now that I don't think many people would actually mind or care, really. I think people would see it as, okay, it's a fantastic lift and it's a world record. Whereas, if you went back, maybe, well, actually saying that, if you went back, it was rife, but maybe people didn't speak about it as much. It was rife back then, but people were kind of really hesitant in saying, you're on steroids. Now it's much easier for people to say, oh, Sam's on steroids, because it's Instagram, it's Facebook. You can comment. Back in the day when it was Team Bulgaria, who you saw once a year, it was
but it was
and it was all very hush hush, and
you were seen as a bit of a scumbag who took steroids years ago. Now everyone's like, yeah, I'm on. Well, what course of TRT are you on, bro? Yeah, peptides is another one I don't really understand. But the whole injecting yourself with something. I'm definitely not saying I wouldn't ever do it. I think I'll probably get on TRT at some point if I don't enjoy lifting and my quality of life gets to the point where I think this would be better and I would have a better time if I was on TRT. But right now, for me at the minute, I just think I don't need anything. The goals I've got are very reasonable. I don't have to squat 400 kilos. No. And then the other thing is, a lot of the people who are taking X, Y, and Z still stronger than.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I don't feel like shit.
Yeah.
I kind of sleep enough. I don't really need to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think nowadays I don't think many people would actually bat an eyelid, which is quite mad to say. I think maybe if you were an Olympian who was clean, I think you would probably have the opposite view on it, and you'd probably be really pissed off, and you'd be, very, very sort of against it. But I think, to be honest, from what I've seen, when it first came out with the enhanced games and Bodhi went across, a lot of the comments were positive, and then a lot of the comments were negative. But he does come with a bit of a negative stigma behind him anyway. But the more enhanced games athletes that I see, actually, the more positive. But I actually see the reaction being, if that makes sense. So
if you're competing naturally, though, you're just taking people out of your competition pool that are on gear.
Yeah. So it actually benefits you, in lots of ways.
You should be happy because now they've got somewhere they can go instead of bending the rules and, just blatantly cheating and taking gear and competing in the Olympics. Yeah.
Last one. So I got one here. Could CrossFit, it ties into what we were talking about. Could CrossFit create a 1v1 league to create more rivalry in the sport? And I don't think he means like a Misfits boxing type thing, like you have Fronin versus, Fraser in a fight.
Josh Bridges fought Jacob Heppner.
Did he?
They had a boxing match, yeah.
That's mad.
I think Jacob Heppner won. I don't quote me on that. I think so. That was a while ago.
So could you create a league? So I'm guessing it would have to be like an open workout style where you had 1v1, same workout, and it would be like me versus you. The workout gets announced. You do it. The winner progresses. Maybe something like that.
You'd have like a knockout competition style. I think it'd be cool to watch. Like the Open was really cool in the sense of what the workout is, there and then. You don't know in advance. Greg Panora, if you know who he is, the powerlifter. So he had a really good take on this when Hafthor Bjornsson was going to fight Eddie. He says, neither of you two are fighters. I get that you want to be alpha males, but the way you would really test who was better is if you had a 1v1 powerlifting competition. I get you want to box, I get you make money and things like that, but just stick to the sport that you're in.
Yeah, so be better than him at a deadlift, be better than him at a stone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the thing that if you do have a problem with someone and you want to sort it out, and you are both swimmers, have a race. Not have a fight about it after, have a fight. But I think I'd watch it. I think that'd be cool.
I think it would be wicked to see. I think it would just, you've got who won the games this year, Hopper. So he made a load of funny videos, didn't he? Basically, I say funny. They were call outs, but they were funny call outs when where he basically on Instagram started calling out Fraser, started calling out everyone.
Retirement.
Yeah, everyone in his sort of field. He was like mid workout calling people out, and it was well received. You would have like Matthew Fraser like underneath commenting saying like, oh, try and win it by the second day, and like it was like back and forth. But I did think at that point, it's quite cool to see a rivalry in the sport between one or two people, where it's more of a, I don't know, not personal, because it's only CrossFit and it's only weightlifting, but it would be cool as if if me and you were elite CrossFitters and I just, on Instagram started calling you out and you were like, right, okay, it's on, let's go. And then it was, I'm fitter than you, I'm stronger than you. And we both turned up, and it would be quite fair in CrossFit where they would go, okay, you don't know the workout, you've got no time to prepare for it. There it is. Go do it. Who's better on the day?
I'd be more invested in the CrossFit Games if two people absolutely hated each other's guts.
And lane by lane.
Yeah.
Just put them in a lane.
Finish, look around and
taunt each other. Yeah. You're screaming in each other's faces kind of thing.
I'd be invested in that rather than oh, well done.
Yeah, claps. Yeah. But that would be, to answer your question, I think that would be banging.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. We'll start that after the power.
Yeah, we'll copyright that. That's ours now. But yeah, sweet. So, that was episode 16, mate.
Thank you for listening to the last podcast ever in this current facility, aka my living room.
That's crazy.
We'll figure out the next one. So basically, we got some options in where we're going to go, but it more than likely, I think we're going to get somewhere to just do a podcast. So the dog doesn't bark, the postman doesn't knock the door. We can have
a log burner.
I'll definitely get a log burner.
Yeah.
Cheers, Aunt. But guests come on, it'd be a little bit more professional, and we will dial things in as we get further down the line, because I want to speak to people that I don't necessarily know as well.
Just have someone that you can actually learn about them on the pod, rather than knowing them, already knowing the answers, and then asking questions, kind of thing.
I'm asking you this question because I genuinely want to know what it was like to freaking do the event that you did, whatever it was, and then we all find out together. If I'm interested and you're interested, chances are someone out there is going to be interested.
Sweet.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
See you in the next one.